Am I okay? It's a question I've been asking myself a lot lately, and it happens to also be the title of this movie we're going to review, which is now streaming on Max, starring Dakota Johnson and co-directed by Tig Notaro.
And her wife.
And her wife, Stephanie Allen.
Yeah. So if this movie sounds familiar, it has been bouncing around for a little. I saw it for Sundance 2022, and it's only now making it out to audiences. No idea why, but here we are.
Did you think that I was?
You did want a Volvo in high school. You did.
Volvos are the safest car.
Okay.
So it's about two best friends, Lucy and Jane. I'm just realized now I don't have my phone in front of me with the character names.
Lucy and Jane.
Lucy and Jane. Lucy is played by Dakota Johnson, and Jane is played by
Sonoya Mizuno.
Sonoya Mizuno, thank you. And they are longtime buddies and know each other insanely well, and order each other's food and finish each other's sentences. Lucy has like this guy that her friends accuse her of sort of stringing along, but she just doesn't have that, she's not feeling hot for him at all, and he finally gives up on that. And between that happening and Jane's announcement that she's moving to London, leaving Lucy without her sort of like emotional caretaker, Lucy kind of has a moment and realizes things about her life, including that maybe she kind of likes girls. Maybe she hasn't pursued that, but maybe now it's time to start. And so perhaps this is going to involve going to some lesbian bars and responding to the flirtations of coworker Kiersey Clemons and maybe some other stuff. And the two of them have this sort of moment of reckoning in their friendship where Lucy has put her painting aside and is working a day job as a receptionist, while Jane is really actively pursuing her career, and it's why she's going to London. She got a big promotion, and the sort of long unspoken elements of their friendship come to the fore, and the two of them have to figure out whether or not they even have a way forward, and if they do, what that would look like. It's a very LA movie. I'm sure you'll have some issues with the how close the ocean and Silver Lake are to each other, but we'll get it.
Thoughts.
We can unpack that. The movie reminds me a lot of Tig Notaro's stand-up in that sort of like flat affect that she has when she's on stage. She's not like ever yelling or speaking quickly. It's all very laconic and dry. And and that's sort of the style of the movie, which generally, I think works. And Dakota Johnson is the perfect actress for that. She's very good at kind of, side-eye flatlining.
The deadpan. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. But I don't know. There were some things in this movie that it feels more like a series of sketches sometimes than it is a full story for me anyway. I think that there's a lot to like here. There are a lot of moments that really work. Tig Notaro's one scene as a woman running a wellness retreat is definitely the comic highlight of the movie. And I like a movie about women's friendships. I always find this really interesting. Although directorially, Tig Notaro and Stephanie Allen favor a lot of like close-ups and cutting between close-ups as opposed to like maybe stepping back and letting a conversation flow in a more natural way. And they're first timers. That might be a thing that they can expand upon as their career continues. Like Babes, it is a movie where people don't seem to be thinking about jobs and money as much as they should. Like it's all very casual, Rent
in LA is very expensive. I don't know how you afford that as a receptionist at a spa.
Totally. And it's a pretty big apartment too, in a cool like Silver Lake duplex or something.
It's a duplex.
Yes. And Jane's got a Saarinen womb chair in her expansive living room, maybe in the valley somewhere. So anyway, I had a good time with this, but I think it borders on the insubstantial at times, but I think it's mostly pretty good.
I got to correct myself. It's Sonoya Mizuno.
Thank you.
She's often in Alex Garland films.
Oh, cool.
She's Oscar Isaac's right-hand woman in Ex Machina, for example.
She's in Annihilation too, yeah.
And she's also in Civil War. She's a brief part in Civil War, but she doesn't get to do comedy. I don't think of her ever as, a comic presence. And she and Dakota Johnson have really lovely, warm, fun chemistry.
Yes.
And you believe that they've been friends for a long time and they give each other shit affectionately. And the scene in a yoga class is very funny and a good example of them like giving each other a hard time, but also supporting each other. And so I believe that friendship, but similar to Babes, I think this works through its conflict in a way that is more believable. I think one of the problems you have with Babes is that it all wraps up kind of quickly and kind of neatly, and the significant hurdles they overcame them pretty fast. And here, these characters have some time to work through whatever it is that they have to work through individually in order for that friendship to potentially thrive again someday. So I thought that was a better bit of writing there, for example. But it's fun and it's raunchy and it's sweet. And I thought that the way that Dakota Johnson explores all her possibilities felt true in its awkwardness. Like at age 32, that she's not quite sure how to be, in a lesbian world. A lot that has to do with drinking really heavily, like going to bars and getting wasted with Kiersey Clemons. And, then they have to go to work the next day and they're super hungover, but they wouldn't be if they drank Athletic Brewing Company alcohol-free beer. And this month of all month is a great time to explore that because it's Pride Month and they have their specialty Pride beer called Rainbow Wall in a very beautiful rainbow-colored can. It's a hazy IPA with some blood orange flavorings to it. It's quite delicious. And some of the proceeds go to LGBTQ plus nonprofits. So it's good and good for you and good for the world. Take 10% off with our code, which is breakfast all day, and $50 at least gets you free shipping, and it's good and for a good cause.
Explore your sexuality with a beer that's fruity.
Aha! And you can use that word. That's your F word that you can use.
There you go.
So the fact that this is insubstantial, I think, is okay because it does what it does in a spry way. And this is a good airplane movie. This is a good sit on the couch if you're looking for something fun to watch, just not get too sucked into anything serious or anything too dense in its mythology. This is just enjoyable. Yes, I, of course, always have questions about the commute time here for the characters. If Dakota Johnson lives in I think it's Los Feliz because you see the Shakespeare Bridge at some point. She lives in Los Feliz, but the spa is in Malibu. It's a real spa, a real place they took over. That's a lot of time to sit on the 101.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's and who knows? Maybe she can afford to quit that job by just not having to do the commute anymore.
She can paint now. She's saving money on gas, right? Yeah, that is a thing. I think you have to suspend that with any kind of rom-com. But I think about these things too. Like, how much does her rent cost? It's got to be at least $4,500 a month. Right?
At least
1920s Spanish duplex with the old tile and alcoves and stuff. Anyway, everyone's really fun. Molly Gordon is fun as one of the other friends here, and
Sean Hayes is a somewhat oblivious boss. It makes me curious to see what they're going to do next. I think neither Tig nor Stephanie wrote the film. As another writer, and I think there are places where it could be sharper, but it's the kind of thing where it's so much of this works so well, it just makes the parts that are a little not quite there yet, I think, stand out the more. But no, there's a lot to like here.
Okay, what's your number then?
I'll say a 6.8. I think it's it is as you say, it is a perfect airplane movie.
Yeah, I'll say 7.5. This is a good, fun diversion, and I always enjoy Tig Notaro in all forms. So it is out there. Am I okay? This is more than okay. You should watch it.